The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Published by Longmans, Green and Company in 1886. In the dimly lit, fog-enveloped streets of Victorian London, a sinister tale unravels, engulfing the reader in a chilling exploration of the duality of man, the eternal conflict between good and evil, and the struggle for identity that lies deep within the human soul. Our story commences with the virtuous and upstanding Mr. Utterson, a lawyer of fine repute, and his distant cousin Mr. Enfield, who, upon their customary Sunday walk, chance upon an odd and desolate building, exuding an air of disquiet and mystery. Mr. Enfield, recalling a chilling tale of a peculiar incident, narrates the story of a repugnant and monstrous man who trampled over a young girl in the dead of night. This loathsome creature, known as Mr. Hyde, repaid the child's family with a check drawn from the account of the respected and honorable Dr. Henry Jekyll. The curiosity of Mr. Utterson is piqued, for Dr. Jekyll is his esteemed client and friend. Upon further investigation into the matter, he learns of Dr. Jekyll's peculiar will, which bequeaths his entire fortune to the enigmatic and elusive Mr. Hyde in the event of Jekyll's sudden disappearance or untimely death. Concerned for his friend's safety and well-being, Mr. Utterson embarks upon a quest to unveil the truth behind the nefarious character of Mr. Hyde and to protect his dear friend Dr. Jekyll from the clutches of potential misfortune. As the tale unfolds, Mr. Utterson is introduced to the repulsive figure of Mr. Hyde, and he is struck by the unsettling and inexplicable nature of the man's visage. Fearful of the malignant influence that Hyde may hold over his friend, Mr. Utterson confronts Dr. Jekyll about his association with this vile creature. However, Dr. Jekyll dismisses Mr. Utterson's concerns, assuring him that all matters concerning Mr. Hyde are well under control, and that he need not fret over their peculiar relationship. Yet the malignant shadow of Mr. Hyde continues to loom over the city of London. His malevolence grows unchecked, culminating in the brutal and senseless murder of the distinguished Sir Danvers Carew, a client of Mr. Utterson. The lawyer, now more determined than ever to bring this monstrous villain to justice, redoubles his efforts to uncover the elusive connection between the reputable Dr. Jekyll and the abominable Mr. Hyde. Throughout the course of his investigation, Mr. Utterson is aided by his trusted friend and physician, Dr. Lanyon. Together they bear witness to the slow decline of their mutual friend, Dr. Jekyll, as he grows increasingly reckless and troubled, while Mr. Hyde's whereabouts and actions remain shrouded in darkness. As the narrative takes its sinister twists and turns, our persistent and dedicated Mr. Utterson begins to unravel a horrifying truth that will shake the very foundations of his understanding of human nature. Dr. Lanyon, in his final days, reveals a cryptic letter left behind by Dr. Jekyll, which leads Mr. Utterson to the chilling realization that the two seemingly disparate men, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, are one and the same. The truth emerges from the shadows, casting its malevolent light upon the unsuspecting protagonists. In a final, ghastly confession penned by Dr. Jekyll himself, the horrifying truth is laid bare. Consumed by a relentless desire to separate the good and evil aspects of his soul, Dr. Jekyll had devised an alchemical potion, a transformative elixir that would accomplish this very feat. Upon imbibing the concoction, the once noble Dr. Jekyll found himself transformed into the wicked and repugnant Mr. Hyde, a creature utterly devoid of conscience and morality, yet intoxicated with power and unbridled freedom. At first, Dr. Jekyll found solace in his newfound ability to indulge the darker, more primal impulses of his nature, without tainting his respectable image. He reveled in the duality of his existence, living a double life that allowed him to explore the depths of his own humanity. However, the sinister Mr. Hyde soon grew in strength and malevolence, as Dr. Jekyll's control over the transformations began to wane. The boundary between the two personas blurred, and Jekyll found himself increasingly unable to stave off the monstrous Hyde, whose insatiable appetite for depravity threatened to consume him entirely. As Mr. Utterson and Dr. Lanyon unravel this horrifying secret, they rush to confront the tormented Dr. Jekyll to save him from the monstrous existence he had unwittingly unleashed upon himself. They arrive at the doctor's residence, their hearts filled with dread, and find his laboratory door locked and bolted. Desperate to reach their friend, they break down the door, only to reveal the lifeless body of Mr. Hyde, his hand still clutching the vial of transformative potion. The terrible truth dawns upon our protagonists. Dr. Jekyll, unable to endure the monstrous existence he had created, and trapped within the guise of the nefarious Mr. Hyde, had taken his own life. In the end, the duality of man could not be separated, and the virtuous Dr. Jekyll paid the ultimate price for his pride, curiosity, and desire to explore the hidden recesses of the human soul. Thus concludes the macabre and chilling tale of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a somber reflection on the complexity and duality of human nature. The tragic fate of Dr. Jekyll serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of tampering with the delicate balance that exists within each of us. The perpetual conflict between the benevolent Dr. Jekyll and the malevolent Mr. Hyde. In the fog-shrouded streets of London, the echoes of this haunting narrative continue to resonate as we ponder the eternal struggle within our very souls. The battle between our nobler aspirations and our baser instincts, ever striving for dominance and control. Robert Louis Stevenson's timeless tale of the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde remains an enduring classic, a cautionary tale that explores the darkest corners of human nature and the moral and ethical questions that lie at the heart of our existence. As we wander the labyrinthine alleys of Victorian London, the specter of Jekyll and Hyde's tragic story lingers, serving as an ominous warning to all who would dare to plumb the depths of their own duality. This chilling narrative not only speaks to the eternal struggle between good and evil that resides within each of us, but also serves as a testament to the indomitable human spirit and its capacity for both great virtue and unspeakable depravity. The story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde remains a potent reminder of the dangers that lie in wait for those who would seek to dissect and manipulate the very essence of their being, and the inescapable reality that the duality of man is an intrinsic and immutable aspect of our nature. We hope you enjoyed this short-form audiobook from the greatest collection of books and stories ever written. Classic masterpiece works are added to the channel regularly. If you would like more of the greatest stories ever told, please like and subscribe.
Ykses.